How's it going, guys? Untamed Gaming here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about something that is not going to be talking about video games at all, but it's going to go off on a real world topic, especially within, the United States. So this might be a little bit controversial. I'm not sure if YouTube's going to allow me to talk about this sort of topic, but it is going to go on gun control and a little bit of, mass shootings or whatever. So I hope I don't get censored that much or get striked for talking about this. But I do feel like I do deserve to have my put my 2 cents in there just to get my voice out there. And this is not gonna be like a political statement. It's not. I'm not a heavy Republican or heavy Democrat. I'm in the middle, so I'd like to hear what each person has to say so I can make a final judgment of what I believe is the right way to go. That is just how I go about things. It's like I'm not heavy on one thing because that restricts me from hearing what the other person has to say. So you get where I'm coming from. So to the people who don't know what gun control is, it is basically it's basically when government comes in and tries to stop firearms or a particular firearm to being sold out to the public. In this case, we're going to be talking about the AR-15. It's one of those rifles out there. It's always in the news. It's a bad word to some people, and people just don't like it in general. Even though they haven't shot the thing yet or even seen one up close, they just don't like the AR-15. So like, why is the AR-15? Especially when I looked it up, is like the last 12 mass shootings, an AR-15 model has been used to cause harm in these tragic events. Basically, just going off on how you can obtain one. Not saying you should go out and do this, but just saying, you need to be at least 21 years old. I'm just going off like the laws in Minnesota. You have to be 21 years old, and you're gonna have a certain license. Either that is a permit to purchase or a permit to carry. And you have a valid ID on you, whether that be your driver's license or some other form of identification. So when you're filling out the paper, they can trace the gun that you have to your name, so they know you're the legal owner of this firearm. So going back on the topic of why the AR-15 is like so popularly used, or like the main weapon of choice for these tragic events, basically it's an easy customizable thing. We're heading towards in like the weapons industry where, as far as I can tell, is like it's easy to modify your firearm to do something else. Because I have a Sig Sauer P320 handgun, I can change that from shooting 9mm to shooting 44 Sig. 40 Smith & Wesson, I should say, not 44. But so yeah, the AR-15 is easily customizable. You can change how the gun performs. It can be built from the ground up. You can literally make it in your garage. I know somebody who just built one from the ground up a couple years back. It could be cheap to buy. The AR-15 could be around the price range of $500 to $1,000. And the ammo for this thing, it's 223 or 5.56 NATO, which usually it's a box of 24 or 223 rounds is about $16 or almost $20 per box. But right now in the state of Minnesota, where I'm from, we have this ammo shortage. It's kind of weird, but we are coming back from it. But from some stores around, they could be up to about $30-ish. So the price did go up because of the demand for them. But they can be cheap. I'm not sure if cheap is the word. You're talking about $30 for a box of 20, but you can buy like 400 rounds of these for like a little over $100 or less than $200. So it's cheap in a way if you're willing to spend the money for 400 rounds. Just to go on like some personal things, like I hunt. I like to go target shooting. I've shot an AR-15 before. They're fun to shoot, I get it. But, I should, for me being a gun owner myself, I feel like I should have at least a say into this thing. So I'm not bashing onto anything I'm about to say here, and we are going to tread on some hot water here if I'm be using that saying. So all the rifles that I have are bolt action or single shot. I'm a deer hunter. I go out in winters and I prefer to go rifle hunting. It's just what I like to do. And all the rifles I have are bolt action. I don't have an AR-15. Even though I said I shot one, it was my dad's. I don't own it. Because I just don't see the need of having an AR-15 in my own gun collection. Unless the true intentions of it is to be used in sports like target shooting or competition, then yeah, you could probably use an AR-15 to for sport. But for me to go hunting with, not exactly. I would rather use the bolt action than using a semi-auto. Unless it's a semi-auto rifle for rifle model. But again, AR-15 I don't really see the need for. And this is I'm gonna be treading on some waters because I'm gonna be talking about the right to bear arms or the Second Amendment. I get it. Some of you guys who are watching this are probably heavily, it's personal to people, and it's one of those things that you don't touch about it or don't talk about it. You shouldn't have a say in this. But me being an American citizen and me being a gun owner myself, I feel like I should have my 2 cents into this discussion. And this is all about it's I'm not bashing on the people who are pro-gun or anti-gun. It's just me putting out a discussion and put out my opinions on certain things. So we're going to be heading into history here. This was the juicy stuff for me. So the right to bear arms, or the Second Amendment, is the right for people to possess weapons for preservation of life, liberty, and property. It was put in on December 15th, 1791. This was a couple years after the Revolutionary War, and it was before the War of 1812. So it's around that range in time, in terms of a time span, or exactly where we are in time. And basically, for me to remember this well, is pretty much to prepare any non-military bodies to be armed in case of another foreign invasion. Such as, because we just got done with the war with the British, and we already established ourselves as a country, the United States, and we put this in here just to give ourselves a chance to arm our farmers or store owners, anyone who was not really trained in the military, a chance to fight with the military to stop an foreign invasion from happening. So basically, it was designed to have a backbone for our boys in blue at the time. The main rifle of the choice at this time when it was implemented was a flintlock muzzleloader. And just to give you an idea, in terms of the fire rate for a muzzleloader like a flintlock is about 3 to 4 rounds per minute. Now, to compare that to the weapons that's been used in these tragic events, an AR-15 could shoot 400 rounds a minute. You could shoot up to 16 rounds a minute, yeah, but then the barrel starts to melt and it starts getting deformed, and then it becomes useless. But comparing a flintlock to an AR-15, usually in the Revolutionary War, you had like a line of I don't know how many guys out in the battlefield, but it's you take that same firepower, but you put it into one person's hand, then you have an AR-15. Just to give you that quick comparison, this video is not bashing about the AR-15. It's just going off on these facts. So this begs the question for the Second Amendment. Should it be changed? Is the Second Amendment outdated in a way? Should we modify it to better suit our standards of possessing firearms? So on this topic, I'm just gonna be fair on both sides. I'll be taking the side of both pro-gun and anti-gun. So if I was pro-gun, then I would say, yeah. I mean, if I was anti-gun, sorry, I had this backwards. But if I was anti-gun, I would say yes, suppress the transaction for any AR or AK model firearms to be purchased in a way so we can decrease the use of someone who's planning to do harm with those rifles to create harm with those rifles. So basically saying yeah, just take these things away so we don't have this problem. But the problem is, if you take away that, then they're just gonna find another way to do that sort of harm. I know there are sick people out in the world. It's nothing new. But if someone wants to do harm, they're gonna do harm one way or another. They're not gonna. If they don't have an AR-15, they'll probably take like a 22 that shoots semi-auto. But okay, so if I were this on the pro gun, I would say no, because I would go on the original reason why we had this implemented in the first place back in 1791, is to have a backbone to prevent any foreign invasion. But here's the also problem with that. The United States now, in terms of military might, is the strongest on the face of the planet. And if you take the geography of the nation of the United States, we are like an island surrounded between the Atlantic and the Pacific. The only countries that touch us is Canada and Mexico. And we are allies with the Canadians in Mexico. It is unlikely for someone to plan on invading us, because we are so advanced in technology and security that it's just like we can like intercept something like a plan. If it were to be between say China or North Korea and Russia, they all plan to do this sort of thing. We have the capability of intercepting that and planning on something about it. And plus, with the allies that we have, like Canada and the British and the French and all the NATO countries out there, it's almost impossible for them to do anything to get close to America without even getting intercepted or bombed out or something like that. So that is a big if we get invaded by a foreign country. But here's some solutions to stop this problem. Now, an AR-15, the standard round for that is a 223 or a 5.56 NATO. For public use, you could have the AR type firearm out there, but you could have it be shooting like a 17 caliber for varmints. You can take out rabbits or something like that, like pests. And you can also have a 22 caliber, which we already have. But that's not taking away the issue that we're gonna have these shootings. There's someone who's gonna go buy out like a $400 22 AR type rifle out there just to cause harm. It's sick, I know, but it's what happens in real life. But then I say again, it's like, would you rather get hit by a golf ball sized rock, or would you rather be hit by a baseball sized rock? You're still gonna get hit. It's still gonna hurt, but I would rather take my chance of getting shot at by a 22 than a 223 or a 5.56. It's gonna hurt. I know. But it's like, take your chances with something that's bigger and something that's smaller. And at the end of it, it's not gonna change anything. People are gonna find ways to hurt people just for the sake of hurting people. I mean, going back to the Las Vegas thing, many people were killed, and the guy that was shooting literally had no motive or any evidence of finding a motive. He just did it. He just did it for the sake of doing it. And this goes with the whole I know I'm not trying to reference this to Eminem's song of Darkness, but it's like the only way that we can stop mass shootings is if all of us are just like, no. But there's people out there who are just not gonna do that. It's just real life, and we just have to accept it. That is, if something along the way in government that's just like, we're gonna take away everything, take away the guns or whatever. And then that's when you have the argument of people saying that the government could be taking away our guns or whatever. And I don't know. And it's one of those questions that politicians today just have a hard time answering. And to those people who are in politics for their own party, for the Democrats or Republicans, for the Democrats, they're gonna always be saying like, yes, we should have gun control and try to prevent them from buying or having this use to be sold in public. And for Republicans, to most of them, which they usually go for, is no, we should not have gun control because of blah blah blah. You know, again, I'm not heavily Democrat or Republican. I'd like to be in the middle, but this is just what I hear from both sides. You know, so I hate to make this video long, but you know, I just thought it'd be a nice conversation to have about gun control. And it's one of those topics that are peaking up again because we just had this event a few days ago, and I just thought I was like, you know, we should just talk about this, you know, on the channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video to talk about this certain topic. And again, if you guys have any of your opinions on what I just discussed here, go ahead in the comment section and go away and type out what you want to say. You know, if you want to call me dumb and have no idea what I'm talking about, then go ahead. You know, you have the right to free speech. So on the way out, don't forget to hit subscribe. You're browsing your way through. You stumble onto this channel and you enjoyed it, then go right ahead and subscribe. There's more videos in the channel for your viewing pleasure, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.